mate. Somebody's raiding our onions, which is a very we've had major problems in the past, people taking onions. So Californian red onions, new season 2007. Nothing like fresh onions out of the ground. Can't beat first rate organic onions. We have a contract with Auckland City Council. We take their office waste from their staff facilities in the city, and it comes to us 5 days a week, and we process it in our vertical compost unit here, this green and white tower. So in a cycle of around about 6 weeks to 8 weeks, we take a waste product and we turn it into a resource. Sweet, man. So this is some of the waste stream that comes to us. Unfortunately, that one there is not a good example because it's actually got all plastic on it. So it's just sandwiches and the like. Unfortunately, we don't like the plastic in it, but you can see here you've got avocados, you've got bits of meat and lettuce and sandwiches and the like. So all that gets processed by the vertical compost unit behind me. It's a prototype, and now this technology is now the preferred one of the preferred means of waste minimisation in Europe on a larger scale. So it goes into this mixing bowl. We have mechanical augers at the base of the bowl, and they mix the material up. It's a bit like baking a cake. In this case it's a compost cake, and it goes to the base of this tube. So that's basically what we turn that waste that you've actually just seen in the containers, we turn it into this product, which is like black gold for us. So we're reducing our outside need for bringing in expensive potting mixes and seed raising mixes.
It's not being imported from Saudi Arabia or Egypt or wherever. It's right here.
And we're able to make significant reductions in our budget. In fact, we're saving around $1,500 a year.
What we've got here is a raised garden, which is a great option for people who have poor soil or are actually in a hurry to get plants on the way. It allows you to get vegetables growing very quickly. We raise the soil up above the current lawn level or ground level. It improves drainage, increases soil temperature, which allows you to grow a bigger range of crops. Easy access, especially for elderly or people with bad backs and children. It's an easy way to garden. If you've got old scoria rocks or pieces of old roofing iron, just support it some way, get the soil inside of it. So it's best to use what you might have in your yard, or neighbours got some old planks lying around. If it's really old, it's probably leached out all it's going to leach, so that's an option as well. There's not much you couldn't grow in there. You could even bonsai a fig tree or an olive in there.
You certainly grow citrus on dwarfing rootstock in this type of raised garden, because the dwarfed rootstock allows the plant, well, the plant won't only grow any more than 1.5 metres or so, maybe 1.8 metres, so potentially grow quite a lot of fruit.
It's a defined area. They can see, well, I've got 2 metres by 1 metre. I can grow 5 different varieties of tomato. I can grow some celery. I can grow 20 lettuce plants. I can be self-sufficient in salad all summer, and they're absorbing carbon the whole time.
So we plant stack here. We've got plants at varying levels. You know, initially we had plants like lettuces, which were sort of around this sort of level. We had coriander growing at about this sort of level, and now we've got, those plants have gone, have matured, and we've got plants at other levels, you know, up to around 50 centimetres or so, and we could ultimately have other plants that are larger in the system as well. We've got some yams that are actually in the ground, so we've actually got production underground. We've got a production just above the surface. We've got planting and production at various levels from 20 centimetres up to maybe 50 centimetres in this garden. So we're actually maximising the space. These are actually a cross between a mountain pawpaw and a real pawpaw. We're standing within a food forest which was generated out of a kikuyu grass about 8 to 9 years ago. Got over 40 different species of edible plants slowly developing in this environment, in a very naturalised sort of environment. Plant stacking again occurring in a more dramatic environment where you've got plants from the ground up to not just to 5 metres, but ultimately with some of the bigger trees that are going to grow, like the olives and avocados, you can have plants growing at 6 to 8 or even 10 metres. This is black taro. And you can see the pepinos is actually starting to reach, this plant here is a pepino, South American fruit. It's starting to go right up into the subtropical apple. You can actually see a few little edible fruit starting to develop here. Those fruit will actually go to about 5 times that size. It's a very juicy type of fruit from sort of high altitude Brazil and Argentina. Food forest concept is a good one, I believe, that could be generated in many communities in Auckland, and it could be. This is very sort of temperate to bordering on subtropicals. We can grow the temperate climate crops, and we can also grow the subtropical type of crops as well. Tremendous potential at school level, at community level, for this type of concept to actually happen. It could be created, and once it's actually managed well, and if you've got a team of people managing it, really not a lot of input required once it starts to mature and produce. It's mind-boggling what you can actually grow in Auckland. We have a bountiful supply of natural resources, and given that we have rain, great supply of rain almost all year round, gives us the opportunity to actually sort of grow this sort of environment. Certainly in terms of the parks and reserve management of many of the councils around Auckland, there's great opportunity, and they're looking at putting edible fruit trees into the landscape. We're growing organic healthy food locally, where it's beneficial for the environment overall. We're improving the capacity of the soil through organic production methods. A whole host of beneficial options, but the key thing is growing local. We can do it in Auckland, within the confines of urban Auckland. One option is for businesses to actually increasingly grow food and herbs for those who work within those buildings down in the CBD. They just grow it on the roof. It's been done increasingly in Europe, and some good examples of even individual houses around the greater Auckland area where they've utilised the roof to grow flowers, to grow herbs, and to grow vegetables.
We just need to get out there and plant everywhere we can. It just makes sense that the more things we have growing, the more carbon's being absorbed, and the healthier the soil, the more carbon's being absorbed, and it's better in the soil than in the air.